Welcome back to Taste Like Home. I'm Tash and I've got Amy here who is a nutritionist and she's going to give us some amazing tips about our nutrition and how it can improve our overall mental health. Thank you for coming in, Amy. I really appreciate it.
Happy to be here.
Thank you. So as we've been going through the series, we've been trying to boost up our recipes and make sure we can get some more vegetables and some nutrition in there. So one thing that I know that I didn't know much of before was mindful eating and how you can practice mindfulness and it can translate to your eating. So can you explain a little bit about what mindful eating is?
Yeah, for sure. So, the concept of mindfulness, I think, has kind of been around for a little while. Yeah. And the way I think of it is the opposite of mindlessness. So I think we do a lot of things mindlessly. So like we're not actually aware, we pull into the driveway, you're like, oh, wasn't really paying attention to how I got here. Yep. Scroll on your phone, oh my gosh, it's been 2 hours, where has the time gone? So we think we do a lot of things mindlessly, and we can apply the same thing to food as we do the rest of our life. Mindful just means being present. So I'm actually here, I'm not distracted, I'm aware of what's going on, I'm in my body, I'm in my thoughts. So we can practice that in real life, but then we can also practice it when we're eating. So, it's really, am I thinking about what I'm eating? Am I aware that I'm eating? I don't know about you, Tash, I've eaten something and I'm at the bottom of it.
Especially, and I'm like, why didn't I enjoy this for longer? Like I really liked this, but I feel like I've just aimlessly stuffed it down my throat and now it's all gone and I didn't enjoy it properly.
So that's exactly.
And then not to mention a little bit of energy. So
that's a perfect example of mindless eating where we just move through it and it's gone before we've even taken a moment.
I can definitely say I'm guilty for that one.
We all are.
Yeah, no, that's for sure. So if I'm doing it without thinking, how can we try to think about it and try and implement it when we are eating our meals?
Yeah, the first thing is remembering to remember is really hard. So be really kind to yourself because you will forget, because it's a habit to just sit down and eat quickly. So I always say whenever we're creating new habits, remembering to remember. So everything has to be on a notification on my phone. So I'm going to say put your phone down in a minute, but I even have to put in my calendar stop work and eat. I really do. And so it says stop work, eat mindfully. So what that is just really taking that time, putting that phone away, turning that television off. If you're with people or something like that, just taking that time and being like, okay, I'm eating. This is where I am. This is what I'm doing. Sitting down if possible, really, again, setting a placemat or a knife and fork and just, again, being present and, not our mind wandering off and we're not sure where we are or thinking about 100 different things.
And that's fair. And it's definitely hard these days. This day and age, everyone's on the go, we're in a rush, we're trying to just move on to the next. And so I do think taking that time to just sit and relax and enjoy your meal is something that I feel like my generation we've forgotten how to do. So thank you. And I was going to say, what are some of the benefits that we can get out of mindful eating, other than stopping, relaxing, really enjoying our meal? What else does it have? What other benefits can it do for mental health?
There's a couple of things. So I think mental health-wise, you just mentioned earlier that we go, right? Yeah. So that actually fuels our nervous system. We're kind of always in that fight or flight, busy. Yeah. So anything we can do to actively rest and give our nervous system just a little bit of time to chill. And it's funny, we have a great muscle memory. So if we do that every time we eat, it will become a real natural thing. Yeah. And then there's a few things, you mentioned a little bit earlier, indigestion. So if we eat fast, digestion takes time. So if we are eating too quickly for that to move through our body, we can feel unwell. It also takes time for our brain and our stomach to communicate that we're full. Our body understands it's full by a few things, but one of the main things is kind of stretch receptors in our tummy, and when it gets to that point, our tummy goes, hey, you know what? I'm actually full, and that can take time. So quite often if we are just mindlessly eating or we're just rushing, after a little while you go, oh my God, okay, I ate too much.
I've done that a few times, and I've actually caused myself physical pain because I've thought that I can finish it and I don't want to waste food, and then I'll push myself and I'll sit there and I'm like, I actually can't move right now and I get cramps. So
and that's your body saying, you weren't listening to me before, so I'm going to tell you really loudly, this is what's happening. And I was going to say one more other thing. It's completely, let's see if I can.
That's okay. Moving back to mental health, I was going to say as well, because we're trying to focus on nutrition and eating well and trying to get some of more nutrition into our diets, which again can be really hard when we're on the go. And I'm going to ask you a little bit soon about how we can get more nutrition in. But I just wanted to say, can you kind of explain what the link is between our gut and our mental health and how we're feeling, and really explain why it's so important to try and get more nutrition in our diet?
Yeah, absolutely. So there's actually a huge link between our brain and our gut. It doesn't seem like it. They seem very, very separate, but they actually talk to each other. They have a lot of receptors, a lot of things cross-translate. So I think it's in Chinese medicine, the gastrointestinal system is actually called the second brain. So there are cultures that have known this for a very long time, and we've kind of forgotten about it. But in our gastrointestinal system, there's millions of bacteria. I know that sounds gross, but we are 9 out of 10 of our cells are actually bacteria. So we are...
That's crazy.
Yeah, more bugs than
crazy.
Wow. And the majority of them live in our tummy or in our gut. And they are actually active. So what they do, they break down the food that we eat and they remove the nutrients from them and they help our body use it. So there's good bacteria and bad bacteria. They're always kind of battling. We want a majority good. The bad guys have a little bit of a role. But depending on our diet, stress, lifestyle, exposure to different things and chemicals, the bad guys can actually overtake us. And then that's when we have a lot of gut issues. The good guys feed on one thing, and that one thing is fiber. So fiber in its real form.
Like
we have
fruits
and vegetables. Yeah. Okay. So be very wary of boxes that say added fiber and things like that, because it's a buzzword. They're not actual real fiber. So so fiber or prebiotics. So they eat this. So the more kind of diversity and the more kind of fruits and veggies that we can add is going to benefit our gut health, and that gut health benefits our mental health. So I think 80% of our serotonin is produced in our gut.
That's really surprising.
Yeah, scientists haven't kind of figured out the exact connection, but and there's quite a lot of studies that show that someone will have a gut problem before kind of their mental health issue develops in 75% of cases. So we used to think it was the other way around. If you are anxious and your tummy got upset, you can be nauseous, or if you're depressed, your bowels can slow down. So we thought that the mental health issues came first and then the gut issues, but in 75% of the time, it's showing it's the other way around.
Wow.
Yeah, so your diet in support of obviously therapy, cognitive behavioral therapy, medication, stress management, all those other things that we know that go with our mental health. Diet is a really important aspect of that often gets overlooked.
Wow. I've learned a lot. Thank you. I didn't know all that. So while we're talking about nutrition and food, and we've got these amazing foods in front of us, what happens when we can't get all these fresh foods and sometimes it's a bit expensive and out of our reach? What would you recommend for people and how we can get more nutrients through canned foods and things like that?
Yeah, so there used to be kind of a saying, fresh is best. I'm not a big believer in that anymore. So fresh is best was kind of back in the day when you grew it in your garden or the farm was up the road. We don't live like that anymore. So studies have shown that canned and frozen foods can be as, if not more, nutritious because they're frozen or canned sooner than they came out of the ground. Then this arrives in the grocery store. They can actually be better.
That makes sense. Actually. I can see that.
I can see that. And I am a canned food, frozen food girl. Like I very rarely make absolutely everything from scratch because it has to be sustainable, right? It has to be affordable, has to be quick and easy. So never let perfect get in the way of good, right? If you're like, okay, well I can't afford or there's no good fresh produce, I won't have anything. No. Go for the frozen, go for the can, go for the discount. It all adds up.
Amazing. So what tips and tricks can you give our young people who may be thinking, I can't afford all the fresh, I don't know how I'm going to be able to get all these fruit and vegetables. What tips can you give them?
Absolutely. So I shop the specials, right? So if you're able to go into a grocery store, things that are discounted, that they're trying to get rid of quickly, that food is still good. The major supermarket brands have like an Odd Bunch or an I'm Perfect. So again, they don't fit the food standards, but they're absolutely perfect. So I love doing those. And I love canned foods and frozen foods, honestly. That is what I stuck up on. Things like bread, put them in the freezer. Right? Last longer, pop it in the toaster, tastes exactly the same. And then add to it as well. So, great point, right? You're like, I can't afford it, what can I do? Look at what you make normally and think, what's one or two things I can add? Because every little thing, if I have a burger and lettuce, okay, maybe I can add a tomato. it's fine. Or some grated carrot, because carrots are pretty cheap, right?
Yeah,
and they last
they
forever
are.
in the fridge. So grate them up. Not what can I take away or what have I got to figure out. What can I just simply add to what I eat already?
Amazing. Thank you, Amy, so much. I really appreciate it. And thank you for giving us some nutritional tips at the end of our recipes as well. If you go onto the links on our recipes, you'll be able to see Amy's tips at the end on how you can boost your recipes to make them non-nutritionally balanced. Thank you very much for coming to us, Amy. Thank you.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.